Gupta. With the onset of Diwali festivities, the Delhi government is once again navigating a sensitive and complex issue, that of balancing age-old cultural traditions with urgent environmental concerns. Firecrackers, especially during Diwali, have long been a cherished part of celebrations, symbolizing joy, victory and community spirit. But in recent years, the rising levels of air pollution in Delhi, which typically worsens during this time because of stubble burning as well, have turned the use of traditional firecrackers into a major public health concern. Despite pressure from environmental activists and health experts, the BJP government in Delhi has sought a reversal of the complete ban on crackers in the National Capital Region. They want Supreme Court to approve use of certified green crackers. The apex court is expected to hear Delhi government's plea on Friday, but even before the hearing comes up, a massive debate has already erupted. Is the new BJP government in Delhi doing this only to assuage religious and cultural sentiments of their vote bank over health concerns? Or are they reversing what was wrong in the first place done with Diwali celebrations being singled out even though October air suffers due to stubble burning more nearby? That debate is coming up with our guests in just a bit. Should there be green crackers allowed this Diwali? The Delhi government certainly seems to think so. Also on the show, we'll get you an exclusive conversation with Zoho CEO Mani Vembu on the new Arattai craze that is gripping the country. And what is the latest Prithvi Shaw brawl all about? We'll get you more later on the show. So here's what Delhi government's rationale for green firecrackers is. The government is very open about the fact that they want to balance cultural celebrations with environmental concerns. They say this is with an aim for a joyful yet responsible Diwali. The government says they are committed to curbing pollution while also respecting public sentiment. The government also proposes use of certified green firecrackers that meet pollution norms. BJP says it will allow only authorized manufacturers to sell these green crackers. Rekha Sharma-led government is also saying or citing that earlier governments faced enforcement issues when the full firecracker ban was in place in any case. As Delhi navigates the complex issue of firecrackers used during festivals or particularly Diwali, green firecrackers have emerged as a proposed solution, possibly to reduce the pollution output while respecting cultural traditions. But this approach has both supporters and critics. So those backing green crackers say that they emit fewer toxins than traditional crackers, so they can be a good alternative. But those against remind that they are not completely pollution free still and may contribute to air quality deterioration, especially when used extensively. Also, it is tough to ensure compliance even of green firecrackers. How are you going to really find out who is following this guideline or not? Secondly, of course, those for this balance, they say that this is the right way to balance tradition and environment so that no side feels that they have completely been left out. But green crackers are bound to be more expensive, less accessible. So again, there's a question mark whether people will actually be adopting green firecrackers or go back to the traditional ones. For supports regulated local manufacturers, this has also been a big debate. Their entire livelihood and industry has been taken away, but at least there will be support for some people who are in the firecrackers making business. But there is a risk of misuse and excessive bursting. If people feel that they can actually go ahead with bursting firecrackers, they may actually go overboard as well. Finally, easier to enforce than full bans. This is a rationale that the government has given in court as well, that anyways you cannot enforce full, complete bans. That has been seen anyways in governance, that bans never help. They only, risk flouting of those conditions. But this may weaken the messaging against crackers overall. Remember, there has been an effort to tell young children and others that crackers may not be the only way that you can have a good Diwali. But does Diwali really contribute to most of Delhi's pollution? Now, that has also been the big question. Here's what a study has found. This report highlighted that on Diwali night, PM 2.5 levels in several northern states exceeds the national ambient air quality standards by as much as 875%, with the capital region bearing the brunt of this surge. But despite this drastic rise, the study found that air quality typically normalizes within 24 hours, This observation obviously challenges the common belief that Diwali-related pollution results in prolonged effects on the environment in the national capital region. You know, these extremely bad air quality that we witness in months of October and November, that certainly has not been proven. The study questions the effectiveness of firecracker bans in cities like Delhi. Despite a complete ban since 2017, PM 2.5 levels on Diwali night, for example, in 2023, were still 100% higher compared to years when firecrackers were allowed. So what is going on? We don't really know. Firecrackers are certainly less in usage now. So why is the particulate matter higher on Diwali? Is this more because of other environment and weather conditions? The study also warns of long-term exposure to harmful metals like aluminum, manganese and cadmium that are released by firecrackers. These toxic substances can pose significant long-term respiratory risks after the festival smoke clears up. With debate raging and the Supreme Court set to hear the matter on Friday, we ask, is a middle path possible? Now, one idea could be to encourage community fireworks organized by local resident welfare associations. Such events would allow locals to participate collectively, reducing the overall volume of crackers or the individual footprint, and also create a shared, controlled environment. To further limit pollution, another option could be to restrict this fireworks display to specific limited hours and short durations, preventing prolonged exposure to harmful emissions and noise. In addition, the government could very well enforce strict bans on fireworks near sensitive zones like hospitals, schools, wildlife areas, protecting those most affected by pollution and noise disturbances. Setting clear decibel and particulate emission limits for consumer fireworks would ensure that only low pollution products are used, promoting innovation and compliance within the industry. Finally, imposing fines for illegal or excessive bursting of crackers would act as a deterrent against violations, helping maintain order and safeguard public health as well. If a middle way is found, possibly there would be more support by the residents as well. So far, we have seen several voices openly saying that they're going to violate the cracker ban that they have been unhappy with to begin with. So, should Delhi government go for something like this? Is this what they're trying with a green cracker solution? Is this a best balance of sentiments and sense? That debate is coming up.
देश के करोड़ों लोग जो धर्म प्रिय हैं, जिनके लिए दिवाली एक बहुत बड़ा त्यौहार है, उन्हें ये अनुमति मिलनी चाहिए, चाहे ग्रीन क्रैकर के रूप में मिले, ताकि वो अपने त्यौहार को अच्छे से मना सकें।
दीपावली पर ग्रीन क्रैकर्स की अनुमति होनी चाहिए। लोगों की आस्था से जुड़ा विषय है और लोग दीपावली को खुल के मनाना चाहते हैं।
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Anil Gupta is spokesperson of Delhi BJP, Chirag Sethi of the Aam Aadmi Party with us, Vimlendu K. Jha is an environmentalist, and Desh Ratan Nigam is political analyst also with us. Chirag, I'll start with you. In some senses, this is also a political messaging from the Delhi BJP to say what AAP couldn't do, we are going to do. That we didn't stand for the fact that Hindu sentiments were not respected when an outright ban was declared on crackers, even though around Diwali period in October, November in Delhi, firecrackers are not the reason why we have such poor air.
See, Shivani, the case is under the Supreme Court, and we have to just wait and see how the Supreme Court will take a decision on this, and we will welcome that decision. But in my personal opinion, firecrackers should not be the way to celebrate Diwali. It is the welcoming of Sri Rama, So it has to be with the lights, it has to be with the sweets, and we should always look at it that ways. Crackers were never a part of the Diwali celebration. Even with the green crackers, the smoke is only 40% down. That means 60% pollution will still be there. There will be ultra fine particles that are going to be there. The water will be polluted the next day, the air will be polluted the next day, and there are hundred thousands of calls that will come on that day where people will suffer from respiratory disorders, people who have asthma, people who have bronchitis, people who have any other respiratory disease. So our suggestion is that people should refrain from that. In the Arvind Kejriwal government, we had a Delhi light and sound show where we all went to the Central Park in CP, and we invited the Delhi people to come and celebrate Diwali with us through this way. See, like what you also suggested in your statement, that we can always look at the community-based firecrackers to be burned. So this way, at least, we will make sure that the pollution on that night is reduced. It is not going up by 800%. At the end of the day, the BJP now needs to work on the pollution. You have to work on now the smog guns. You have to work now on the dry cleaning of the road so that the dust pollution stays down. You cannot just put down the AQI monitors in the forested land and say, okay, the AQI is coming down.
Okay. No, as far as the larger pollution issue in the national capital is concerned, that's a debate for another day, whether the Delhi BJP government has managed to look at some of those factors. But we do know what contributes to poor air in Delhi. It is largely vehicular pollution or industrial pollution. Around Diwali, this whole focus on Diwali crackers began because we started seeing this change of wind pattern plus the parali burning in nearby states. That happened around Diwali time now. The patterns had changed as far as the agricultural community is concerned around 10 years back. That's when the focus came on crackers. Before that, we all knew that yes, for a couple of days the air is bad, but it was never blamed for the kind of situation we saw in October, November. Do you think that was unfair to begin with? You talk about how people should be discouraged. I'm for it. But bans don't discourage people. We know that.
See, we agreed. Also, in the last 10 years, you will see the AQI monitors have gone up. So people now know that the air quality is bad. We understand, but we need to come out with a solution where it's a win-win for both the parties. It's not that somebody who's got asthma, somebody whose kids are unwell, and when the pollution goes up, because with the green crackers also, it's not smoke-free. 60% pollution will still be there. The ultra-fine particles will still remain in the air. It will pollute the water bodies. It's going to pollute the air. It's going to pollute on the land because of the stuff that will be left behind after burning those crackers. So we are of the view that let's celebrate with sweets, let's celebrate with the lights, but we'll also have to find a way where we can just minimize all that.
No, so I didn't want to make this political, but because the Aam Aadmi Party was in power for 10 years in the national capital, when this was a big focus, because it all coincided in the last 10 years, did the Aam Aadmi Party then do enough that air quality should be good all year round, not just, let's say, in October, November, we suffered very bad air quality. Yes. So was the focus actually there, or was it a disproportionate focus on Diwali period and Diwali crackers alone? Before I bring in the BJP spokesperson, I want to bring in Vimlendu K. Jha on this. Did we focus enough?
Shivani, I just need 10 seconds on this. Yeah. So we were the ones where in our government, the PM 2.5 level came down by 25%. 150 days were called as the clean air days. That was done in Delhi. Our green cover has gone up in the Delhi in the last 10 years. So that all has been done in the Arvind Kejriwal government.
Fair enough. Let Vimlendu come in. Did we focus enough on pollution, or did we go for low-hanging fruits like Diwali crackers alone?
I think we need to understand that if there was enough that was done through the year and in the entire region, we would not be really talking about air pollution year after year. And indeed, we do discuss the episodic sources of pollution, the spike that we actually see, which is two things primarily. One is the stubble burning in Haryana and Punjab. And then, of course, the Diwali day, because suddenly we think that our fate is more important than the lung capacity or the asthma or the life of our children. And that is where I think stupidity begins. That, we think that for our children, for every third child to have a stunted lung growth is totally okay. And I'm not saying that it's because of Diwali. It's because of misgovernance of 365 days multiplied by 10 years or 20 years that we're actually talking about. Indeed, transport, 40 to 50% of the pollution is transport. And that is where our representatives of the government, the past and the present, are responsible for a fractured public transport system that we actually have. As if 30% of pollution still is construction and demolition dust, a lot of that actually is attributed to bad governance because, enough is not being done in terms of managing the roadside dust, so on and so forth. But at the same time, when we talk about Diwali, the fact, as in we all need to have scientific acumen. Science should govern our decision making. Today we are in 2025. We cannot follow certain things which perhaps was okay. As in, I was able to throw flowers in Ganga 30 years ago because Ganga actually had dissolved oxygen levels. It actually had life, versus Ganga is completely polluted, and now even a flower petal would actually choke the river in that sense. Similarly, when the air quality index, we all know, that becomes 20 to 30 times worse than the permissible limits as per the WHO standards, we all know that each and every hospital in Delhi, all the ICU beds are inundated. Delhi runs out of ICU beds on the day of Diwali. What are we even discussing? Our momentary joy of bursting chemicals. I don't even know if the chemicals were what Diwali was all about. Right now, when the air quality is, when we are already in ICU, we'll have to look at ways, multiple ways, also on Diwali. And by the way, I should also remind everyone that it's very, very convenient narrative to talk about firecracker ban only vis-a-vis Diwali. Firecracker ban is 365 days. Therefore, a Bakrid or an Eid or a Christmas or a New Year or any other Tyohar, Baisakhi, it is a ban which is 365 days. And my request to the political class is that your large inaction through the year, and not just in Delhi, by the way, your office actually is not in Delhi government's office. You are in Noida. And therefore, and I'm right now sitting in Gurgaon. So it's a regional problem with multiple governments, multiple political parties, and a collective failure of our political class that hides behind the faith and hands over a puljari and faith to really not talk about pollution at the end of the day.
No,
Tell
so
me,
there are those.
if 10 years of our children's life, all our scientists, our Indian scientists are telling us that people who live in Delhi, they lose the 10 years. The politicians sitting on this program, are they going to give back my 10 years or the 10 years of every Delhi citizenry because they haven't done their bit? As in this long claims of Aam Aadmi Party or super blast claims of the BJP that will come. By the way, 125 good air days did not happen because of the government action. It happened because of the rain. It happened because of the good rains that we've had. The fact that Delhi has had a satisfactory air days last 1 week, it is not because of Honorable CM Rekha Gupta's action. Action on governance on air pollution or on pollution issues is completely missing. We need to embrace that reality and be honest
That's
with
why
our
I
political
asked this
class.
question. This whole Diwali firecrackers debate always gets some people's goat. Because one, you only focus inordinately on Diwali firecrackers, not when firecrackers go off for personal functions or New Year's or other festivals. Secondly, it's almost presented as if you solve this, then the pollution problem is solved, but it is not. It's a cover-up. By suggesting that by doing this, by having this ban which is convenient for a government to impose, you've actually done anything. But let me go across to the BJP representative, Anil Gupta, joining us. Sir, how will your government justify that despite the fact that Delhi is already one of the most polluted cities in the world, you want green crackers to be brought in just to assuage sentiments in the national capital?
Yeah, good evening to you and all the viewers. See, the crackers are banned for last several years. Still, the previous government failed to implement that ban. We have seen in the last 31st October night and the 1st November 2024, what was the situation of air quality index? Banning is one issue. Enforcement is second issue. And now the maintaining of faith in the custom is another issue. Previous government has failed in implementing the ban. Now we want to have a solution because, in Hindu religion, there is a custom of busting crackers. So there has to be a way out. Previously, enforcement could not function. Green cracker is one of the solutions. We want to maintain the air quality index. But because Delhi has a population of more than 3 crores, we have seen in previous years, in spite of lot of advertisement, in fact, I tell you one incident. The In last year, there was a ban on the busting of the crackers, but when Kejriwal got released from the prison, their own leaders, their own mantris, bust cracker in front of the CM house. So they failed. They themselves failed. But now we want to have a solution. We are requesting to the Honorable Supreme Court because green crackers is a technology developed by CSR NERI, and that creates less pollution, less noise. So now there is a custom, there is a faith in the Hindu religion. If we have to need a balance, otherwise there is a lot of infiltration of the illegal crackers. Such a vast city, how will you stop? If there is a regulation, there is sale of authorized crackers, then at least we can have some control on the sale, on the bursting, on the timing also. And one more thing, we will definitely abide by the decision of Honorable Supreme Court. Already our Honorable CM has mentioned this. Whatever will be the decision of Supreme Court, we will implement bit by bit. If Supreme Court say ban it, we are going to ban it. It is already banned. But we are requesting so that to have a balanced approach, the custom prevails and the pollution is less.
Okay.
This is what we need to see.
So, Deshratan Nigam, while I understand the enforcement argument, and I think there's a point there that enforcement is anyways poor when you have such large-scale bans in a city that has 3 crore plus living, and this ban is actually supposed to be enforced very forcefully in the entire NCR region. So if you add Noida, Gurgaon, other places, how are you going to manage this between different governments? And different governments have also had different approaches. But at the end of it, it still seems like the BJP government is going a little bit out of its way to catch on to religious sentiments. I know that many people in the national capital or otherwise in India have been unhappy with the fact that only Hindu festivals come under the gavel of court verdicts and not, any other issues. For example, there are pollution issues, water, and other pollution issues during Baqar-Eid and so on and so forth. But nobody else's religious customs, no matter how problematic they may be, are ever curtailed.
Well, Shivani, pollution is a kind of thing which affects everybody and is created by everybody. It is not only Hindus. Everybody is involved into it, and we have a serious problem. Vimlendu properly put it, and thanks to him that he is succinctly and lucidly brought everything on record. I'm not going to repeat that. But merely focusing on Hindu festivals, Diwali will be a misplaced focus that will not find a solution. Therefore, pollution in its entirety has to be considered, and the crackers pollution is very minimal, as the IIT study shows. And therefore, what we have to do is to find a balanced policy, as Supreme Court has also directed the central government.
But is this balanced, asking for green crackers?
Yes, certainly. The policy has to balance the cultural celebrations and also the environmental concerns. So, to have that balance, you require a balanced policy. And here the green crackers, as certified by NERI, means that very much less pollution. And that can be a beginning point. And let me tell you, the people have their rights and also their public duty. Please understand, there has to be a balance between the people's right and public duty. Public duty requires that we all have to be concerned about the pollution, and the rights require for them to celebrate their festivals. So middle path, as you said, is the right answer. Because unless and until you focus on the entire polluting issue, you will not be able to arrive at pollution. The dust, construction dust that comes around, the vehicular pollution that you have. You talked about water pollution, everything. So it has to be a very holistic approach.
But look at what's happening for stubble burning. Already we have instances of stubble burning emerging from Punjab. So how are you going to have solutions that work for everybody if, you're going to ignore what is easily doable and possibly the most important factor when it comes to end-of-year problematic air in national capital?
Yes, certainly, because now you have a government in Punjab, which as per their spokesman is very concerned about pollution. They must, look at the crop pattern of Punjab, which is one of the responsible factors where the crop pattern changed. And during that time, the wind pattern is such that it comes towards East Indian, from north side to east side. So therefore, the entire region up till Bihar, even West Bengal gets this thing. And that rice cultivation is one of the biggest problems, which has also destroyed the soil of Punjab. It has become very acidic. So the long-term policy is needed in Punjab to at least change the crop pattern, so that the wind pattern, when you actually, even if you resort to stubble burning, it is the wind pattern is certainly not towards the particular region which are getting affected. So it requires a balanced policy, and central government has created a huge fund for which the funds were given to the Punjab government as well, Haryana government also, and to some extent to UP government also. So they got to utilize it to see that how the stubble burning can be reduced, and it can be treated in a manner it gets converted into compost khad. And therefore, I have a client, which has probably given a demonstration to Punjab. They said we'll buy the all stubbles and convert into stubble boards, which are fire resistant. I mean, Aam Aadmi government can look into those proposals,
Okay,
and
let
those
me
are some
take
of
it.
the wonderful proposals that can be taken into
Let me take it to Chirag, because
consideration.
the criticism has been that when you were in power in Delhi for 10 years, you kept blaming all factors but what was under your control. Now that you are in power in Punjab, you shift the blame back onto either other states that are ruled by BJP or the national capital. You didn't do enough to, in a large period of time that you were ruling Delhi, to sort some certain fundamental issues right.
Shivani, first of all, when we were in Delhi, like I told you, the PM 2.5 level came down by 2.5% to 25%, and that is the report by the central government and not our government.
So
Also,
can you
the
tell
number
me
of
why
days
that
that has been.
happened? Can you tell me why that happened?
I'll
What
tell
is
you.
it that the
I'll
Delhi
tell you what.
government did that
Yes.
happened?
Yes, I'll tell you. First of all, the manual sweeping of the roads was stopped, and we had those trucks which were actually dry cleaning, which is basically the vacuum cleaning of the roads were done. We had smoke gun installed on the roads where there was a lot of pollution, where there is a lot of vehicular pollution. Because of that, it has gone down, and also 3% increase in the green cover area that has been done in the last 10 years. And these are all the things that had led to this decrease, overall decrease in the PM 2.5 levels. Even in Punjab, your channel also showed the report last year that the farm fires were down by 50%, 50% the farm fires were down.
Can we
And we had
expect
always
more
asked,
this year?
yes, why not? See, with the Parali also, the Punjab government has invited a lot of companies. They are buying it to make CNG. They are buying it to make the boards, like the political analyst sir said. So all these things are already happening in Punjab, but we also need the help from the central government, because it's not just the problem of Punjab. It is even in Haryana. It's even in Rajasthan. Even in Uttar
Yes,
Pradesh.
but
It's
it's
everywhere.
less
It's
in
not just
Uttar
in
Pradesh
Delhi.
and
It's
Haryana if you
Gurgaon.
look at the overall quantity. I take your point that it did come down by a considerable percentage over the last few
Yes.
years. Anil Gupta, you wanted to
Yes.
come in very quickly.
See, I just want to give you the actual facts. Last year, Punjab had 38,000 fires, these stubble firings. Central government has given crores of rupees for this stubble management. Lakhs of machines were lying in the godown of DM and SDM. And in fact, the central government has allowed 10% as a fuel in thermal power plant to use this stubble as a fuel. But how much is the Punjab government doing? That is the question. Another thing is in control in the PM 2.5. Unluckily and surprisingly, Delhi has a record of every year a red letter day of the history. That is known as when AQI crosses 999. Every year for last 10 years, this record was created in Delhi because of the failure of the Aam Aadmi Party. Now I tell you the other figures. How much dust or silt they were removing from? You see, check the roads from the municipal corporation, less than 10,000 tons per day. Now, how much Rekha Gupta and MCD is lifting? More than 15,000 tons. That shows our keenness, our interest. That can be verified and checked. Tell me, how much is the facility created for construction and demolition waste? Hardly 5,000 tons per day. How much now? What we have created? More than 10,000 tons per day. That shows we are serious in removing the dust from the roads of the
Okay,
Delhi
okay.
has a road network of 28,508 kilometers.
Shivani, 10
Now
seconds.
every
One
day
second.
you will see the cleanness of the roads.
Okay,
You
no,
can check the road.
that the
You
Delhi
can go.
government,
That is true.
the Delhi
And one more thing.
government.
One more. Just a minute. One more. Last point. For last 8 months, the daily AQI has not crossed 200. Maybe that is because of the rain, but not every day rain is there. So that
So
shows
weather
the
is good.
keenness. And
Sometimes
not,
we are at the mercy of weather patterns and wind patterns
no,
as
that
well.
is true. That is true. Some role of God is there, but at least not every day rain is there.
No, okay.
So
As
why?
far as the long-term, success of the new government, I don't want to discuss that today because we'll have to wait a little bit to see how the first year goes, particularly this sensitive period. But Vimlendu, very quickly, I've got a minute. I want to understand from you, can we look at maybe doing this in a more community way, communal way, where we can come together? One part of our locality can be a designated spots where for a certain number of hours or maybe 2 hours during Diwali we can burst crackers. Can we look at something like that? Because everybody wants to take part in the festivities. You don't want to lose this element of Diwali for the future generation as well, even if it's a little bit polluting. Can we do it in a different way where we can come together?
Shivani, we are a civilized society, as if anything that pollution by one person or pollution by 200 people in a community hall, it still remains pollution. I think certain things need to go out of the window and based on the circumstances that we are in. Also very important that we need to understand that yes, we need to meet people, let's wear good clothes, let's do sweets, let's do many other things. My question is something very simple. I have a 4.5-year-old daughter. She will have asthma problem that day. Can I tell her that your Lord Ram को मनाना है तो थोड़ा सा asthma हो जाए, तुम्हारा 10 साल कम हो जाए तो कोई बात नहीं है.
Okay, I get your point.
हो जाए तो कोई बात नहीं है.
I get your point. We must build towards a completely cracker-free experience.
Elderly people who have become contractors and ठेकेदार्स of it will tell us that what should my child breathe?
Okay. Limited time, 30 seconds to Desh Ratna Nigam. We need to do away with crackers completely, sir.
I think we need to have a balanced approach, as Supreme Court clearly said, consulting all the stakeholders. Supreme Court forgot to mention the users. They have only said about, central government, state government, manufacturers, sellers. What about the users? They also have to be there, taken on the same page. And we are not talking about elimination. Please understand, elimination of pollution. We are talking about reduction as of now. Even Supreme Court is also considering reduction and how we must focus on how to reduce it. Community bursting of crackers can be one solution. Setting a quantity of crackers to be sold to an
quantity limit,
person.
A time limit,
yes.
Decibel
so all those
limits
can be worked out. All those things can be worked out, and we need a balanced policy. It cannot be just Hindu festivals. It's about entire India, the entire society.
Would such rationing happen for other festivals as well is a good question. But the Delhi BJP representative is here with us, and we look forward to hearing from what the government solutions could be. One way could be to restrict the amount, but then again there are enforcement issues in that. I leave it at that. I do thank our guests for joining us. Backed by Indian government ministries and celebrities online, Zoho is having a moment. Both the company's office suite solutions and messaging app Arattai are witnessing a massive surge in subscriptions. After many such endorsements already, Union Home Minister Amit Shah also announced his shift to the Zoho email earlier today. He even announced his new email online. And interestingly, he ended the tweet by using a line made famous by US President Donald Trump. Thank you for your kind attention to this matter. Given the threat of data privacy of Indians' data stored overseas and the demand and sentiment for India-made solutions, the Indian government has been actively pushing and shifting to Zoho email and office setup. As a consequence, what has also happened is that it's made Made in India messaging app, Arattai, more popular. It has seen 100 times increase in downloads and subscriptions as an alternative to global messaging apps. Remember, all of this is happening in the context of Indian Prime Minister Swadeshi push and the threat of global companies keeping their own and the dominant country's interests on top. Since mid-September, Arattai has seen an unprecedented surge because of these endorsements. The app that was first launched in 2021 had settled at around 3,000 plus daily sign-ups. But after ministers' endorsements, it has surged to 350,000 a day and is continuing around 1 million sign-ups daily still. Its overall downloads on Android app have reached 1 crore plus, and it is also #1 in its category on the Apple Store in India. So what is Arattai, which means chat in Tamil, and what all does it offer? The app obviously has text and voice messages. It also has voice and video calling available, particularly meetings, which other apps don't have. Photo, video and document sharing is available. Stories, groups and channels are all there. And it also has multi-device support across smartphones, tablets and desktops. Let me compare Arattai to the most popular messaging app available today, which is WhatsApp. So Arattai offers meetings integration with scheduling and recording that WhatsApp does not. In fact, no other app currently does. Arattai offers a feature to store files and media in one place, unlike WhatsApp's chat with yourself option. Arattai even has a dedicated mentions tab which is not available on WhatsApp. It has a unique take on location sharing, which ends when you reach the location, unlike current options which have time options. Currently, Arattai doesn't have text end-to-end encryption by default, but they are set to launch it soon to match what WhatsApp offers. But end-to-end encryption is available for calls and meetings. Now here comes one of the big differences. Data is not sold by Arattai for monetizing ads, while other apps do that to some extent. All of user data on Arattai is stored in India, unlike other options. And Arattai is also available for non-smartphone options, while others may not work very well on older phone models. With this entire Atmanirbhar push, I spoke to Zoho CEO Mani Vembu on why India needs Arattai, the surge that they've been witnessing recently, and how they've handled it. Joining me now is none other than the man in the hot seats along with Sridhar Vembu, Mani Vembu, who is the CEO of Zoho. Lots of exciting things happening at Zoho, particularly in relation to their messaging app Arattai. Mani Vembu is joining us, and Mani, I want to begin by asking you, this whole uptick that began in September. How did it hit you exactly? Did you see it coming? Because some of it, maybe you were planning for, government ministries were talking about Arattai and coming onto Zoho platforms. But did you expect the kind of uptick you saw in September, and how did you deal with it?
So see, this was actually a surprise for us because we have been working with government on certain engagements for the last 2-3 years. And the sudden minister's endorsement on like Zoho Office Suite was a real surprise and a happy moment for us. And and that actually the tweet created a storm. So that means so there are a lot of access, sign up and traffic that comes to Zoho.com, and we could able to actually handle those. But the Arattai was again a surprise because we know, during the interactions, we have talked about Arattai. So we have talked about, because it's live from 2021. And we have been talking about, how we look at technology, how we look at R&D. So these are all the kind of conversations we had during our engagements. And so suddenly Arattai getting the visibility, and it as Sridhar pointed out, from 3,500 signups, the first day it hit 350,000. And the next day it hit more than 1 million signups, and it continues to have more than 1 million signups a day, and that means it's a sudden surge. And for Arattai in November we actually planned for a major announcement. That means so from our side we want to actually do a major announcement in November, because we thought with engineering and the product side we have been ready, and infrastructure we have been expanding. And suddenly this came up, and so we have to really rush our expansion, and so we have to reprioritize some of the infrastructure requirements and then provision it for Arattai. So that's how we handled it, but it was a surprise for us.
So is there any one tweet you think contributed to this sudden surge, or was it a collection of tweets that were happening at that time?
There were two different parallel things that happened. One is from the IT minister about the Office Suite, which is part of the overall engagement we had, and suddenly that created a buzz around the Zoho Office Suite and Workplace and email, and also the Made in India product wave, so that created that traction, so that created the visibility for Zoho's Office Suite, even though we have the offering for last 20 years. So that created a massive visibility for the Office Suite, because many consumers or customers in India doesn't know that Zoho offers a Office Suite, So we are known for offering email, we are known for offering accounting software, for offering CRM software, So other business apps are more popular, but Office Suite we are not that popular, and that tweet actually created that visibility for the Office suite. And then there is another tweet by Education Minister on Arattai. So he has tried Arattai, and then right, so he tweeted about that, and that actually created the storm for Arattai. Right, the entire Arattai wave has been created by that one tweet, and right, so because getting an endorsement from say such a right, say it's a pleasure, really a surprise for us, and fortunately we could actually scale our infrastructure and serve those demands.
This is coming 4 years after the launch of Arattai, and possibly till earlier, last month, not many people had even heard of this messaging app that is a complete made in India product. So, did you ever imagine this, that something like this could happen 4 years after its launch? You were saying that you were planning something in November and it came, a little bit before that. So what were you planning in November, and what were the plans for the app, given that for 4 years, not many people had heard about it?
You see, if you look at our own investment in technology, so we started Zoho with the Office app. That means, right, so we were the first one to launch Zoho Writer, the online word processor. So that means even before Google had the word processor, we had launched our word processor. So because we want to, we realized that this whole word processing, presentation, spreadsheet, everything will actually move to the cloud. So we actually started building that from 2005. But then for the last 20 years, it's part of our bundles, and we have our own user base in the businesses which uses the Office suite, and it used to be free for consumers. So that is not right. So we never marketed it in that sense. Same way for Arattai. So we know, like say, India needs a foundational technology like communication platform, which is made in India, where the data resides in India. And so we started building this, say, 5 years before, and then we launched the first version 4 years before. And we have been investing on R&D. So there is a team that is continuously enhancing this. And this messaging platform is also like built on the same tech stack that is being used for our business apps. So for businesses, we already offer a platform called Zoho Click, so which is used by business messaging, and the same stack is what we use for Arattai. So in that sense, we have been investing on it, and what we were planning in November is like say another major announcement with the right say PR campaign and the marketing campaign, and I'm sure none of it would have matched the level of demand that this tweet has generated. So no
You
market.
don't need that PR campaign anymore.
Yes,
it saves you money.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
So, but I want to ask you, Mani, because lots of people are contemplating that actually an Indian messaging app would never be able to compete with a WhatsApp or a Telegram because the subscriber base will not be large enough, and that this could very well go the cool way. What are your thoughts on that?
See, it is very hard to predict this because right, say it depends on a lot of different factors, not just right. Say we can't compare. Once again, we can't compare like right. Say based on past experiences because a lot of things are changing around. And the other thing is like say what kind of functionalities we bring in the app. So how are we going to differentiate this from the other apps, and how much of the whole demand now itself shows that the right say the market's demand for a made in India product. So I don't know whether like say 10 years before we just said like so it's made in India, then so because some things don't go viral if there is no the market sentiment is very different. So right say now you could see that there is an alignment between the market sentiment and the offering. So there is a high demand that we are seeing in the market, and now it depends on like say how much the product evolves in future, what direction it evolves, what kind of value it offers to the consumer, how it differentiates from other apps, other messaging apps. So those are all the things that will decide that will determine the viability of this app in the market, and that's why we are focusing on what we could do. And as a company, we want to focus on like say what is in our control. So right, so we control the product direction, we control the technology direction. So we want to focus on that, and we don't want to right, worry about like say whether which direction will the market go. So no matter which direction it goes, we are going to keep investing because the Arattai 4 years back we announced it, and there was a good traction, and then it settled down at 3,000 signups a day. But that didn't say force us to decide to close it down or anything because it's the same tech stack we are using. So we are not investing heavily on the right say on building it from scratch. So so we continue to invest on it because we know like this is a foundational technology and this is required for right. So there should be a real strong technology contender from India. So that's our belief, and that's why we have been investing on it.
So, do you believe that even if this becomes an Indian messaging app, even if, just the Indian population on smartphones was to adopt this, this would be successful enough? Or do you see traction for Arattai overseas as well? Is there any current traction for it overseas, and do you see it in the future?
So see, currently, yeah, definitely like say 80-90% of the traffic comes from India, but there is like say overseas traffic too. So we don't restrict any. And as you said, rightly said, like say India itself is a very huge market, big enough market for having its own messaging app. And right, so and there are like say countries where privacy is very important, data sovereignty is important. Then definitely like right, say they are going to adopt to right say. Messaging app which actually doesn't sell data so or doesn't monetize through advertising. So that's been our focus too, right? Say privacy being our focus, we want to ensure that there is no trackers in the app, there is no like say the data is not being used for advertisement. So these things are going to actually be more important for your consumers. Today there is a lack of awareness from the consumers of what kind of data is being used to push advertisement for them, but more and more people are getting aware. So more and more people are seeing that, right? So once they so whatever they discuss, then they see an ad that is relevant to their discussion. So that's not a right say you don't right. So and those kind of so the whatever discussion happens in Arattai stays within Arattai, and the data will not be shared for any advertising purposes or anything. That's a promise we are making, and that's where we differentiate from the other messaging apps.
Yeah. If I'm not wrong, Mani, then text-to-text encryption is not there currently. You've talked about plans to enroll it very soon. Could you give us a sense of how soon that could happen? Because there are other end-to-end encryption, for example, for calling and meetings, but not for text right now.
Yes. So for text today, we give a option where we say it as secret chat. Once you enable and then start the chat, then it becomes like an encrypted one. But by default, we haven't opened it. So and we are soon going to right support that. So maybe in the next 4 to 6 weeks we'll have that as right. So coming up for all the users and widely enabled for the users.
Already people are talking about how the calling, the video calling and the meetings inbuilt is much, much better than other platforms. According to you, what is that one feature that sets Arattai apart and makes it even better than WhatsApp or any other messaging app?
So today, bringing in the meeting is one part of it, right? So making a meeting as part of the offering, right? So that means you don't have to use two different software. And the same way, like say bringing in like say the Android TV app. That is again we are seeing like good usage for the Android TV app. So that means like say because in the consumer market when you are attending a birthday event, you are not there, then rather than joining in your mobile phone and then seeing the video, so you just launch a meeting and then you just log into your Android TV and then watching it is a different experience altogether, right? So it will feel like you are being there, so you are part of that whole celebration. So that's where we want to differentiate. So how do you ensure that the consumers get the best value out of these experiences? So that's where we want to focus on, and these are all some of the differences, and we are also working on much more differentiated features in Arattai, and that will come in the next few months.
Okay, I hope to talk to you again in the next few months as you announce more. But I do want to ask you, the buzzword in the industry today is AI. And whether it is browsers or any kind of apps, everybody's trying to, insert an element of AI. But Arattai is not doing that. That is a conscious decision on your part, right?
No, see, we want to really, like, say, right, say AI, we want to embed wherever it is necessary. So we don't want to, right, add AI for the sake of giving something. So rather, we want to actually identify use cases wherever AI is useful. We want to use AI there for some suggestions, for some recommendations, for some correction, right? So those are all the places we want to actually use AI. So that will come, but that we want to ensure that that comes in the very contextual level.
So can Arattai beat global competition? You can catch that entire conversation on CNN News18 YouTube, where we speak to Mani Vembu on the challenges that lie ahead.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Bombay High Court has asked actor Shilpa Shetty and her husband Raj Kundra to first deposit 60 crore rupees if they want to travel to Los Angeles and other foreign countries. Remember, this comes after the couple moved the High Court seeking quashing of a lookout circular issued against them over a FIR related to alleged 60 crore rupees fraud. Now, the High Court, the Bombay High Court, taking a very stern view and asking the couple, actor Shilpa Shetty and her husband Raj Kundra, to first deposit 60 crore rupees if they want permission to travel to any foreign country. Remember, the couple had moved the Bombay High Court seeking quashing of the lookout circular against them in the case where they allegedly defrauded 60 crore rupees. Mayuresh now joins us for more on this. Mayuresh, a huge setback for Shilpa Shetty and Raj Kundra. The Bombay High Court taking a very stern view and not giving any relief, saying that they have to deposit 60 crore rupees if they intend to travel abroad.
Absolutely, because they had approached Bombay High Court with the anticipation that they will get some kind of relief from the Apex Court. But now Bombay High Court has asked them that if they have to travel abroad, then they have to basically deposit the 60 crore amount to the court as a surety, or we can say the security deposit, and then only they can go abroad and do their professional work or whatever the commitments they have got. But now it will be interesting to see that what Shilpa Shetty and Raj Kundra do next, whether they deposit that amount or not, or whether they move to the Apex Court or what, that needs to be seen.
Mayuresh, in fact, in cases of this nature, we usually see a lot of argument on the flight risk that is there when somebody approaches the court seeking permission to travel abroad. But looks like the Bombay High Court wants to ensure that the 60 crore rupees is first deposited before they travel, and that's the amount that is allegedly that has been defrauded by the couple.
Absolutely, because as I said, that whenever anyone moves to the High Court or the Apex Court, there is a kind of a sense that they may get some kind of a relief in that matter, and with that aim only the Kundra and Shilpa Shetty had moved to Bombay High Court, because they are in their plea, they have mentioned that they have some prior commitments, and for that they have to travel to abroad. But here the court has taken a very serious case, and they have exactly asked them that first you deposit the 60 crore rupees, and then only we will allow you to go abroad, and whatever the commitments you have, you can fulfill.
In fact, Arunama is also now joining us for more on this. Arunama, we usually see a lot of debate on whether there is a flight risk whenever somebody approaches a court in a matter of this nature. But in this one, the Bombay High Court making it very clear that the couple needs to deposit the money if they intend to travel abroad. Does it now also give a huge boost to the investigating agencies looking into this case now?
Yes, this was a lookout circular which had said that, if they had to travel abroad, the agencies at the immigration point will have to detain them as per this lookout circular. This is a 60 crore fraud case that we're looking at, but there's also a parallel investigation that is going on in the Bitcoin case by the Enforcement Directorate. And in that too, prosecution complaint has been filed by the ED against Raj Kundra. Shilpa Shetty's role too has been mentioned. We'll have to wait and see if the court treats her as an accused in that case or not. But together, these two cases is building up. Two separate agencies finding evidence to show prima facie financial fraud or money laundering in the case of ED definitely doesn't augur well. And the fact that they moved a High Court-like platform and could not convince the judge about their intention, because Shilpa Shetty argued that she was an actor, there were professional commitments for which she needed to travel abroad frequently. Raj Kundra also had business, he was a businessman, so he has business commitments. But looks like none of those arguments have cut ice with the Bombay High Court.
Arunima, what are the legal options before the couple now? Can they move to Supreme Court? And
Prithvi Shaw's fiery altercation with Mushir Khan during a 3-day practice match between Maharashtra and Mumbai has left fans shocked. Take a look at what happened. Thanks a lot for watching.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Bombay High Court has asked actor Shilpa Shetty and her husband Raj Kundra to first deposit 60 crore rupees if they want to travel to Los Angeles and other foreign countries. Remember, this comes after the couple moved the High Court seeking quashing of a lookout circular issued against them over a FIR related to alleged 60 crore rupees fraud. Now, the High Court, the Bombay High Court, taking a very stern view and asking the couple, actor Shilpa Shetty and her husband Raj Kundra, to first deposit 60 crore rupees if they want permission to travel to any foreign country. Remember, the couple had moved the Bombay High Court seeking quashing of the lookout circular against them in the case where they allegedly defrauded 60 crore rupees. Mayuresh now joins us for more on this. Mayuresh, a huge setback for Shilpa Shetty and Raj Kundra. The Bombay High Court taking a very stern view and not giving any relief, saying that they have to deposit 60 crore rupees if they intend to travel abroad.
Absolutely, because they had approached Bombay High Court with the anticipation that they will get some kind of relief from the Apex Court. But now Bombay High Court has asked them that if they have to travel abroad, then they have to basically deposit the 60 crore amount to the court as a surety, or we can say the security deposit, and then only they can go abroad and do their professional work or whatever the commitments they have got. But now it will be interesting to see that what Shilpa Shetty and Raj Kundra do next, whether they deposit that amount or not, or whether they move to the Apex Court or what. That needs to be seen.
Mayuresh, in fact, in cases of this nature, we usually see a lot of argument on the flight risk that is there when somebody approaches the court seeking permission to travel abroad. But looks like the Bombay High Court wants to ensure that the 60 crore rupees is first deposited before they travel, and that's the amount that is allegedly that has been defrauded by the couple.
Absolutely, because as I said, that whenever anyone moves to the High Court or the Apex Court, there is a kind of a sense that they may get some kind of a relief in that matter, and with that aim only the Kundra and Shilpa Shetty had moved to Bombay High Court, because they are in their plea, they have mentioned that they have some prior commitments, and for that they have to travel to abroad. But here the court has taken a very serious case, and they have exactly asked them that first you deposit the 60 crore rupees, and then only we will allow you to go abroad, and whatever the commitments you have, you can fulfill.
In fact, Arunima is also now joining us for more on this. Arunima, we usually see a lot of debate on whether there is a flight risk whenever somebody approaches a court in a matter of this nature. But in this one, the Bombay High Court making it very clear that the couple needs to deposit the money if they intend to travel abroad. Does it now also give a huge boost to the investigating agencies looking into this case now?
Yes, this was a lookout circular which had said that, if they had to travel abroad, the agencies at the immigration point will have to detain them as per this lookout circular. This is a 60 crore fraud case that we're looking at, but there's also a parallel investigation that is going on in the Bitcoin case by the Enforcement Directorate. And in that too, prosecution complaint has been filed by the ED against Raj Kundra. Shilpa Shetty's role too has been mentioned. We'll have to wait and see if the court treats her as an accused in that case or not. But together, these two cases is building up, two separate agencies finding evidence to show prima facie financial fraud or money laundering in the case of ED definitely doesn't augur well. And the fact that they moved a High Court-like platform and could not convince the judge about their intention, because Shilpa Shetty argued that she was an actor, there was professional commitments for which she needed to travel abroad frequently. Raj Kundra also had business, he was a businessman, so he has business commitments. But looks like none of those arguments have cut ice with the Bombay High Court.
Arunma, what are the legal options before the couple now? Can they move to Supreme Court? And with this kind of a stringent observation or order by the Bombay High Court, beg your pardon, is there any likelihood of any relief even from the Supreme Court?
See, they have two options. A, they can, if they are